Alright guys, and welcome back to the Saints for the Champions Landing content for our opposition preview ahead of our home game against Chelsea. I'm delighted to say I've got Lewis from Blues Fans TV with me. Mate, how are you doing?
I'm good. You're right.
Yeah, I'm fine. Not really looking forward to the game, as I just said off air. First of all, mate, just what's happened over the last handful of games? Obviously, new manager. Firstly, I wanted to get your opinions on the sacking of Frank Lampard. Obviously, club legend. Was it justified?
It's a peak one if you put emotion into it, but it is justified, and I think the form we've had coming out of the sacking just proves it. Lampard has the potential to be a great manager in the future, but the fact is it just wasn't working right now. With Chelsea, the expectations are massive. That's why it's one of the toughest jobs in world football. So it makes sense that Lampard will struggle, especially into the second season, only because you can't really tell what he's going to do as a manager. Usually with these experienced managers, you know what type of manager they are, you know what type of style of play they like to do or how they can address certain situations when it happens. Lampard's only had 1 year of experience, so when things went bad, you have no idea of whether it could get any better or worse. And last season, it made sense with the transfer ban and Hazard being out and everything. It made sense that we had to start new, but we spent 250 million plus on players, and we were ninth in the table, 10th by the time Lampard was sacked, I think. Things just weren't working out, and we're heavily reliant on finishing in the top four, and it wasn't going to happen under Lampard, so I understand him having to leave. But it don't mean anything. He could potentially come back in 5 or 10 years as an actual veteran manager with some experience, and maybe we can believe in the dreams then, but it wasn't going to happen.
And with Thomas Tuchel coming in to take over, 5 wins and a draw so far. What have you made of his start to life at Stamford Bridge, and what's he changed?
It's been great, but I'm also not getting too ahead of myself. We've been very pragmatic, which is good in my opinion, because we solidified the defence. We were just leaking goals every single game in the last few weeks under Lampard. So I'm happy with the way that we're playing, but I'm also not getting too overconfident about it, only because the run of games that we've had, we faced an awful Spurs side, we faced Burnley, Newcastle and Sheffield United. These are teams that we should be beating anyway. I'm interested for this game because I think you lot are actually going to give us a match. The only team that's done that so far is Sheffield United. That was a tough game in itself, but I think you lot have higher quality players, so I'm interested to see how this game unfolds.
And what are your thoughts on Southampton so far this season? We were saying off air, and you just said it then, about how it might be an interesting game, and you think Saints are going to give Chelsea a good run for their money in this one. What have you made of our season so far, and how are you feeling ahead of it of the game on Saturday?
Before a few weeks ago, I thought you lot were doing brilliantly. I was going to ask you what's happened to you lot over the last few weeks, because I was even looking back at this game a week or two ago. I didn't even notice that you guys had slipped to about 12th. Because I was looking at this Southampton game, I was like, first big test before Atletico Madrid. All right, cool, let's see this. Now, it's like, the table says different, but you still got a solid team. But what's happened to you guys?
I mean, where do you want me to start? It's been a mixture of injuries, refereeing decisions that just aren't going our way, and a lack of confidence. I think having a couple of defeats in a row doesn't help. And then, if you look at our game against Wolves on the weekend, I mean, we were 1-0 up, cruising, probably should have had a 2 or 3 goal lead going into half time. And, we absolutely blew it. The early penalty kind of knocked all confidence. And there's no spine in the team. That's the problem. And that's something Hasenhüttl's not been able to change. It's been the same under Pellegrino, Mark Hughes. We've had this for 3 or 4 seasons now where we take the lead and we just drop points. We've got no leader, really. Some fans might say Ward-Prowse, that leader, is an academy product and the captain now, but I don't buy it. I think he's a great player, but he's not captain material at times.
Holding the armband.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what it is. And yeah, I don't know, to be honest, but it's the first time in our history that we've lost 6 league games in a row. I think 7. Yes, I'm expecting 7. Obviously, we'll go into predictions a little bit later on. But yeah, it's been a mixture of just everything going wrong at one possible time, really. But what are your thoughts on key players? Who do you think are going to be the main ones for Chelsea, and also who are you looking out for from a Saints perspective?
From Chelsea, I think Callum Hudson-Odoi and Mason Mount are 2 players are going to give you a big problem. Timo Werner as well. ignore the first goal in 100 days. Like, his impact is involving a lot more in terms of goals and assists. That's why he's only scored 10 this season, but he's also assisted 9 in all competitions as well. Still gets heavily involved with the build-up play. So I'd say you need to look out for him too. It's overall a squad, because you don't have anyone that really stands out for goals and assists, but you have the most goal scorers in the league. And that's because everyone can chip in and have an effect. Our squad's amazing. I've said we should be title contenders, but the only issue was whether the system would work, and the system wasn't working for a few months. So now we have a manager who's implemented a system that works. I don't see any reason why we can't get a result against anybody right now, because that team has the ability and now I think the confidence in themselves to go and get it themselves. For you guys, is Danny Ings injured?
No, he's fit, mate. He'll start.
Yeah. Then he's someone I'm going to worry about. Ward-Prowse as well. Vestergaard, because without Kurt Zuma, we've lost a lot of our aerial threat, and he's just massive. And other than that, I'm not sure. Walcott gave us a bit of a few problems in the last game, but still not too sure about him. But he loves the game at Stamford.
He's injured anyway. He's injured, so he won't be playing. I mean, off the top of my head, yeah, I think you've probably hit it nail on. Bertrand might show up in this one. He's been all right of late. Obviously, former Chelsea boy. Romeu as well. Romeu's played well this season. But I think for us, having, or not having, I should say, Kyle Walker-Peters being ruled out with another injury has just been a massive blow. He's been ridiculously good for us this season. I mean, I don't know why it went wrong for him at Spurs, because he wasn't getting game time, but he's come to Saints and he's been excellent. So he's going to be a massive miss.
One of your best players this season?
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt, I'd say top 3. I think he's been magnificent, and a lot of Saints fans would agree. Yeah, we've got no natural right back to play, so I think that left-hand side for Chelsea is going to be a real problem for us, and you should definitely look at our right-hand side and exploit that, because it might be a makeshift centre-back playing at right-back, or, you know, we might be giving one of our younger, you know, more reserve players in Kane Ramsey a game, who obviously conceded 9 at Old Trafford a few weeks ago. So I'm sure you guys will be happy about that. But just to wrap up, mate, give us a score prediction and your final thoughts ahead of the game. Are you confident that Chelsea will take the 3 points from this one?
I'm thinking like a 3-2 or something. I think it'll be a high-scoring game. Although maybe it'll be a bit more pragmatic and I can say 2-0. It'll be one or the other. Well, one of those. But I do see Chelsea going and getting the win in this one as well. Just to get us some good spirits. Yeah, let's go game. But I don't think it'll be easy.
Do you think that Atletico game might affect team selection by Tuchel? Do you think that might be the priority and a few key players might be rotated or rested for this one?
Maybe 1 or 2, but I don't think too much. Like, it's a 3-4 day gap, I think, for the Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. It's a 3-day gap, so it's nothing too bad. We got Man United after that on the Sunday, and that's a 5-day gap. So I don't think it'd be too many rotations, because this game's still important for us. We still need to climb up the table.
All right, mate. Well, thanks for joining me. Of course, I'll leave all your links in the description below. If you have enjoyed the video, guys, leave it a like. Subscribe if you haven't yet already with your notifications turned on. And we'll see you for our match review after hopefully a big win for the Saints.